Hello again. The German political party Alternative for Deutschland, more commonly known as AfD, has a very strong following, especially in what used to be East Germany, where they've picked up around 20% of the vote in elections. They are a right-wing party and oppose immigration to Germany. They're not madly keen on homosexuality and they want German women to have more babies. These are all perfectly reasonable points of view, of course, even if they do run counter to what those on the left politically find desirable. They're not demanding Anschluss with Austria, nor has anybody found them to be plotting to overthrow the democratic process in Germany. They simply have a different point of view to progressive people. They are conservative nationalists. Nevertheless, this is more than enough to set alarm bells ringing in the German establishment, and the President of Germany, Frank-Walter, says, "We all have it in our hands to put those who despise our democracy in their place." The magazine Der Spiegel has published a leader headed "Ban the Enemies of the Constitution," which says that it's time to defend democracy. All this absolutely typifies the attitude of left-wing liberal progressive people, not just in Germany, but in this country as well. The truth is, it is such people who really despise democracy and are the real enemies of democracy. One only has to remember the reaction to the expressed will of the British people on leaving the European Union to see the real attitude to democracy on the left. Just think over for a while what is being said in Germany. A party gains 20% of the vote, and because they say that immigration should be controlled and traditional family life strengthened, they are described as a threat to democracy. The German establishment's idea of democracy, you see, involves banning any party which disagrees with their own views. That is certainly one idea of democracy, although I'm bound to say it's not mine. I expect that viewers in Britain and the United States have noticed something similar, which is to say that democracy is held to be a sacred principle, except when dissenting views emerge. Those either here or in America who wish to halt immigration are viewed with great suspicion and invariably dismissed as belonging to the far right. By the by, the word right is very often preceded and qualified by far, because this makes it all the easier to hint that those people are likely to be very close politically to the Nazi Party. This is why the very term neo-Nazi was coined, of course. Everybody knows that the Nazis were not in favour of democracy, and so if you make people identify your opponent with the Nazis in that way, then they will, as a matter of course, be viewed as being against democracy. That gives you a good excuse to have them banned. I rather think that many people watching this will have already decoded expressions like far right and seen it for what it is. If there is a rally to protest against a camp for illegal immigrants being sited on one's doorstep, then those taking part are, of course, far right. If anybody objects to gay pride activities for the under-5s, then they too must be far right. In this way, crushing those with heterodox views and opinions, an inherently undemocratic thing to do, becomes instead a solemn duty to defend democracy. This Alice in Wonderland logic is prevalent now in Britain, Germany and across the Western world. In this country, the Conservative Party really holds to the same values as Labour, and so anything even the slightest bit to the right of those two parties can be dismissed as being far right, and therefore in need of monitoring by the police and security services. We have reached a point where all respectable people have a single view about immigration, homosexuality, Islam and abortion. Anybody who deviates from this standard view is a dangerous fanatic. This is what is meant today by democracy, and it's what John Stuart Mill meant when he talked of the tyranny of the majority as well.